one of the more intriguing prospects in this year's draft is my guy, Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa. Um, he has a chance to go in the top 10. There's a lot of great fits. We'll be here to break that down, the fits that he could go to, the teams that he could go to, as well as kind of what he does best, all after this. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Camper Report. I am your host, Benjamin Camperman, and today we've got a prospect that, considered the number one cornerback in the draft. I'm primarily a 49ers channel, but around draft season, around free agency season, I start to get into a lot of draft prospects, a lot of other teams. I do interviews from different content creators from other teams to kind of just get to know that fan base, get to know that franchise. So if you're a Falcons fan, if you're a Texans fan, I'll be covering it all this draft season. Let's get into Cooper DeJean, though, cornerback out of Iowa. I'm going to break him down, and then at the end of this video, so stick around to the end, I will give you guys my best destinations that I think he'll go to, and we'll go from there. So the first thing that immediately stood out for me about Cooper DeJean, cornerback out of Iowa, sound tackler. He's has great closing speed. So basically what happens is, especially on screens, when a team tries to throw a screen against Cooper DeJean, he sniffs it out very quickly, great closing speed, and doesn't miss a tackle. He only missed 5 tackles last season. He is almost built like a smaller linebacker, more of a nickel cornerback, but because of that, has great closing speed, is very smart at reading where the ball is going to go, anticipates very well, and doesn't hesitate at all, and is a hard hitter, physical player. Now, for defensive teams that play more of the man-to-man coverage, I will say that when I looked and flipped on the Cooper DeJean highlights and tape, a lot of his work is being done in zone coverage. Now, why he is so good in zone coverage is he's not the fastest cornerback, but what he will do is he's very crafty. He'll sit back in zone, and he's very good at, one, reading the quarterback's eyes, but also, two, knowing where the ball is going to go, like I said before, but two, when he almost runs the route for receiver, he plays a little bit off on the receiver, lets the receiver run the route, especially with slants or short slants or short out routes. He'll let the receiver run the route. He'll play a little bit off in zone coverage, and then he'll suddenly he knows what the receiver runs, the same exact route that the receiver does. He's a crafty and very well developed type of cornerback that will give you the experience. Doesn't necessarily have top tier speed, but his reaction time is very elite. He's very good at reacting to what is happening in front of him and closing out and closing on the receiver. That's why he is so good at just tackling after the catch or making, again, he had 3 or 4 pick sixes in his junior year because he's just so good at reading immediately what the receiver is going to do right off the line. Quick fact about Cooper DeJean, he actually does return punts. So if a team, maybe doesn't want to start him right away, wants to redshirt him a little bit, he can also return punts. I'm not sure if that's going to translate much to the second level or the next level in the NFL, but he can return punts. One play that really stands out to me versus the Kentucky Wildcats, this was in 2022. He was a junior. So actually, in 2022, he played about 14 games. In 2020 or 13 games. In 2023, which was last season, he only played 10 games. So actually if you want to look at a bigger sample size of Cooper DeJean, go look at 2022, which is when he played more games. He was a little bit more banged up and injured in 2023. Has very good instincts, very good at timing the snap, and when the team runs it to their running back, very good at just blowing up the coming from the outside, and has good closing speed when the team runs it. He's very good at timing the snap and getting to the quarterback on blitzes as soon as the snap starts, because he's very good at timing the snap, getting up to the line of scrimmage, and closing out on the quarterback or running back. He's always, to me, at the right place at the right time. He's in the right place at the right time. Doesn't have that speed, but much like Richard Sherman in his career, he just knows where the ball is going to go. He has a high IQ. Played a lot in the slot in 2022, but transitioned more to the outside in 2023. He could be a slot cornerback. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if at the next level he becomes a slot cornerback, because he plays, he's a slower guy, but he plays more physical, like a linebacker. Like some teams like to use slot cornerbacks as more of the hard-hitting type players that they bring in for blitzes or whatever. So great at playing in the slot, has experience both slot and outside, and really is the prototype perfect cornerback. 6'1", 205 pounds. Now, he does run a 4.5, which this video is being made before the combine is being played or being done. So we don't know what his combine 40 time is going to be, but his previous 40 time is a 4.5, which is in the 48th percentile of NFL players that have gotten drafted out into the NFL. So 48th percentile, not great, 4.5, but again, a prototype cornerback, 6'1", 205. In 2023, 43.5 completion rate, 73. He had a 73 PFF grade in zone coverage and a 63 PFF grade in man coverage. So, like I was saying before, operates a lot better in zone coverage than he does in man-to-man coverage. Even though in man-to-man coverage, he's very disciplined. He doesn't bite on the play. When a receiver maybe makes a double move, he stays very patient, very disciplined, doesn't bite. Lets the receiver do the work for him. So doesn't bite on any of the kind of the moves that the receiver tries to make at him. So I would say the thing with him in man-to-man is just the speed. He might get beat once in a while, and that could be kind of a crutch at the next level in the NFL. But again, like I said, very patient. Now let's move on to some of the fits for Cooper DeJean, some of the draft fits for Cooper DeJean. The three main teams I had were the Falcons, Chargers, and Cardinals. Now, the Falcons, let's start with the Cardinals first. The scheme that the Cardinals like to play, Jonathan Gannon, even though he's the head coach, still has a major imprint on that defense. Jonathan Gannon, when he was at the Eagles, they like to play a lot of zone. But also, they're a very hybrid defense, zone and man-to-man. I think if the Cardinals do not end up getting Marvin Harrison, I think a second option, and maybe they decide to trade down for number 4. A second option could be Iowa cornerback Cooper DeJean. So he fits the scheme of Gannon. He can really play anywhere, like I said before, slot or outside. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the Cardinals. Now, a more intriguing team to me is the Chargers. The Chargers at pick number 5 are a team that, yes, they have a bad need for cornerback. Yes, they could get weapons for Justin Herbert, but this is a guy, the Chargers are in a perfect position to trade down with the Titans or the Falcons. They're in a perfect position to maybe, let's say, trade back down to pick 7 or pick 8 and give that pick to the Falcons or Titans, because Falcons and Titans have very similar needs. They could be looking to jump each other. And so the Chargers, yes, they need offensive weapons, but if they could trade down get one of the best cornerbacks in the draft, trade down, get some picks, get one of the best cornerbacks in the draft, I think you have to consider that if you're the Chargers. The Falcons, another big team that could be in consideration. They're at pick number 8, which is where Cooper DeJean is projected to go right now. And they just need a new cornerback. I mean, they've got Clark Phillips. He had a coverage grade of 59, which is 88th out of 126 cornerbacks. So it's not good. Clark Phillips definitely needs to be replaced. They have Mike Hughes, who plays a lot in the slot, and he has a 49 coverage grade, 49.1 coverage grade, which is, I mean, a bottom grade for cornerbacks in the league. So Mike Hughes and Clark Phillips both need to be replaced. The Falcons could be a perfect team to replace them, and to replace them with Cooper DeJean. So wouldn't be surprised if the Falcons do it. Real quick, back to my Cardinals point. The Cardinals are also 32nd in defense, or points. They're 31st in points allowed, but they're also just graded out as the worst defense in the league. So yes, the Cardinals could get Marvin Harrison, but they also could bolster their defense by getting one of the best defensive players in the draft. So let me know what you guys think in the description, in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Real quick, if you have not known about StreamYard, this is your lucky day. StreamYard is a streaming platform. I'm actually streaming on it right now. StreamYard is a streaming platform that if you want to create live streams like this, videos like this, go to StreamYard. It's very user-friendly, beginner. It's a very beginner-friendly streaming platform. It's very simple to use. And if you sign up with the link in the description, you will get $10 off of your first subscription, or it's free. StreamYard is also free. So guys, go check out StreamYard. That has been the Cooper DeJean draft breakdown, and we'll see you guys again.